Good morning. Here I am, messy hair, no microphone, in my grandmother's kitchen. I hope you can hear me, sort of, at all. I just need something after somewhat exhausting trip this summer. I just need a little something to make me feel myself again and peppy and back in the groove of everyday life. So I decided I would make a fun little video where I just try to make as many old recipes from the Engram viewer, as many old recipes from like the 1800s and early 1900s or whatever as I can, with just things that I already have in the house. So we'll see how that goes. Just for fun. Be back in a moment after I look for a recipe. Okay, so I knew that I had seen some lentil soup recipes before that were like ultra simple. So simple that they do not appeal to me very much. I like my lentil soup with a lot of veggies in it. But apparently most of, if not all of, the lentil soup recipes in the 19th century were ridiculously Okay, had to continue this video on my grandmother's phone because apparently my phone ran to its video limit. So hope this works alright. So I was thinking about lentil soup. So apparently they're all very simple, almost disgustingly simple, and that would make them pretty easy to make, I would think. Of course, the Victorians always loved to make all recipes more complicated than they had to be, but still pretty easy to make. But even more importantly than them being easy to make, it should be low on, like, I already know it's low on ingredients, and I'm low on ingredients, so it should work. So let's see. This is from Ella Kellogg's book, Everyday Dishes and Everyday Work. Let's see what their lentil soup is like. Swiss lentil soup. Cook a pint of brown lentils in a small quantity of boiling water. Add to the lentils, when about half done, 1 medium-sized onion cut in halves or quarters. When the lentils are tender, remove the onion and rub the lentils through a colander. Add sufficient boiling water to make 3 pints in all. Season with salt. Reheat to boiling and thicken the whole with 4 tablespoonfuls of brown flour rubbed to a cream in a little cold water. Brown flour? What is brown flour? Like they cooked the flour until it was brown? Is there any better lentil soup? I think I'm just gonna try that lentil soup recipe, but I expected the screen to be terrible. And of course it's going to be I'm going to make it much smaller because I don't have a whole pint of lentils. Which means I'll need like a microscopic amount of onion. Yeah. Okay, I just realized that they asked me or did they? Okay, I'm glad that they did not ask me to simmer the lentils for 6 hours. I think that was a pea soup recipe. Yeah, 6 hours would be ridiculous. Unless it was a slow cooker. But yeah, basically 19th century equivalent of a slow cooked meal. But the lentil soup is not like that, thankfully. So I've got to cut up no, I don't really, well, I'm going to cut up the microscopic amount of onion, even though it's going to be a while before I can edit something like that. Just so that I don't have to keep referring to this recipe, because I think I can remember that much. But how many tablespoons of brown flour? How many? 2 teaspoons full. Oh, no, that's a different recipe. 4 tablespoons full. Oh, but I'm making a microscopic amount, so you should have 1 teaspoon. So, okay. Quick tip for not crying your eyes out when you cut an onion. First, you cut off the ends like this, and then you cut a little slit in the side of the onion skin so that it peels off easily like that. Cut a little slit like that, and then you go over to your sink and you rinse the onion under cold water while you remove the peel. While you peel it off, you rinse the onion under cold water. I have found that helps a lot with the otherwise horrible burning sensation in one's eyes. So, how do they want this onion cut? In halves or quarters? So they don't want me they don't actually want me to use the onion. Oh. They just want it in there to flavor it. I'm just gonna use this. I'm just gonna put this in there. That should work. And I will save the rest of the onion for whatever else I need onion for, because I will probably need more onion during the course of this video, because one always needs onion. And this cooking, onion is wonderful, and I think it's pretty common in old recipes as well as every recipe that I use normally. Also, just to get an authentic 19th century feel, I am using wooden utensils. Now I have this big hard zucchini from the garden, so I'm going to see if there are any zucchini recipes. It looks like the English-speaking world did not have zucchinis even under the name courgettes in the Victorian era, so I'm not using that. Okay, so this recipe is a little bit more exciting. It took me a long time to find an interesting apple recipe that did not involve making any sort of pastry. I was not really in a baking mood. So, apple salad. Salads of apples are excellent with cold roast meats in winter. Have everything cold and do not cut the apples until ready to serve. Chop or shred very fine 1 good-sized Spanish or sweet apple, carefully removing all seeds and the core. Break a head of lettuce into a salad bowl and slice it over it 6 crisp, tart, highly flavored apples. Long, narrow slices are most attractive. Sprinkle the chopped peppers. What peppers? Evenly among the apples. Dress with 2 tablespoonfuls of lemon juice, 6 of oil, and a tablespoonful of salt. Mix well, pour over the salad. Stir lightly and serve. This is a very confusing. Dress 2 tablespoonfuls of lemon juice, 6 of oil, and a spoonful of salt. Okay, I think I get it. Now let's see if I have any lettuce. I know I have peppers. Oh, there it is. Chop or shred very fine 1 good-sized Spanish or sweet pepper. Carefully. Oh, no wonder it was a pepper, not an apple. That makes a lot more sense. Carefully removing all seeds and the core. Break. I don't know what they mean by a Spanish or sweet pepper, but I think that the sweet pepper must be close to my bell peppers, and I definitely have those. So, this is a very healthy recipe. This is a pretty pathetic amount of lettuce. Let's see. Just a moment. So I think I'm going to try both apple salads, the regular apple salad and the green apple salad, because I have both regular apples and green apples that really need to be eaten, and because I only have a very small amount of pathetic lettuce, and I have much more celery, which the other one calls for. I have here my tiny bit of chop. Maybe my unintentionally browned lentils will make up for my not browned flour. Here is my tiny bit of apples to match my tiny bit of lettuce. And now a tiny bit of bell pepper to match my tiny bit of everything else. This is already a very delicious looking salad. I almost hate to add any dressing, but we are going to follow the recipe and make a dressing. Micro dressing. Yes, that was a lemon seed squirting somewhere onto the floor. I think they probably meant olive oil, so I'm just going to put olive oil in here. This is going to be too much dressing, even though I'm downscaling this. I would say that if you downscale a saltspoon of salt, it would probably just be like 2 shakes. Mixing well as directed. Smells nasty, but rather looks delicious. And pouring over our delicious, sweet little salad here. This is, by the way, going to be my breakfast, besides a leftover delicious cinnamon roll from the Holiday Inn. Delicious. Delicious. Very good. 2 thumbs up for that one. I'm not expecting the lentil soup to be delicious, but we're getting closer to finding out, and I think this is the closest. This double boiler steamer pan is the closest thing I have to a metal colander. So I'm going to strain the lentil soup through this. We will see how that goes. I'm going to make myself a lot of work for later. At least fits sort of nicely like this, making it a little bit easier to perform this delicate operation. I am not taking out the onion because it got very soft and I sort of mashed it up like I would normally. And because I love onions, so that would like take away my favorite part of this recipe. This has the delightful feeling of making a huge chaotic mess. And I am making a huge chaotic mess, and I'm going to have to clean it up later, so that's the not so delightful part. I don't think these lentils are going to want to strain through a colander, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm getting the closest result I can. I wonder if part of the lentils are supposed to be left out. Hello! Hello! You are on video.
I am? Oh no. Why?
Because I'm making a YouTube video of me making Victorian recipes.
Let's settle for breakfast.
Well, I will soon have, if there's anything salvageable out of these grapes and apples, I will soon have something close to like a Victorian Waldorf salad. So at least you could eat that. And here's a slice of apple that we started. I'm trying to make lentil soup, but the Victorians' idea of lentil soup is ridiculous. I don't know what they wanted me to do, but I'm just going to put this lentil mush back in. For like brown flour, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm not browning my flour for a lentil soup. I'm not even sure what that means. It's like brown butter and brown flour. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah. I've done it before, but it was an accident.
Well, I accidentally browned my lentils, so I told the video that maybe that'll make up for it. So now, I've got to add some water. So, the recipe calls for, yeah, it just calls for that flour, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, I should have added less water to start with, but hopefully this will come out smooth and not lumpy eventually. I'm rubbing it into a cream, as they call it. That's what they actually call this. Let's hear that, flour? You're creamed. Literally. Okay, there we go. They don't say how much salt to use, but I'm gonna add quite a bit because this is gonna need it. Want to see what our soup looks like? This is what it looks like. And this is what the apple salad looks like. And this is what my cutting board looks like. So, while the lentil soup is heating to a boil, and the lentil mess is soaking off of our cookware. I am going to proceed in making the Granny Smith apple salad, which is extremely simple, and which I think Grammy will like more than me. Trying to decide. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make mine with doing two parts. Mine with Duke's mayonnaise and hers with her mayonnaise because I can't stomach the thought of mustardy apple salad. So here are our plates of just celery and Granny Smith apple, very nice and fresh green, very summery. And now I add the mayo. You know what? On second thought, I'm not having mayo on mine, no matter how Victorian it is. She can have it on.
What did they want on yours?
I'm just gonna eat it by itself, like
What did they want on it?
mayonnaise.
That's what I thought you said.
Here's my unmayonnaise. Grandma can have hers with mayonnaise. The
You
right
didn't
way
need
back.
that 17 seconds that's on here, did you?
No, I don't know what that was. Apparently, Granny Smith apples and celery is a good combination. Completely by itself.
Okay. The steamer actually has.
I'm gonna close out this part of the video. And, I'm gonna come back later and give an update on how that lentil soup turned out. So far, this is what I've got. Very healthy, surprisingly tasty, and very easy to make. So, not better than I thought the Victorians would come up with. Since I was enjoying eating breakfast with my grandmother, finishing all that salad, and having a little honey water, since I was enjoying that, I nearly forgot to update on the lentil soup. It turned out rather a little blah, but not too bad. It could be a lot worse. And probably if I had actually strained out the lentil bits and just had this bouillon, it would be better. I don't know whether that's what they wanted or not, but if I had had it that way, it would probably be really tasty. But not very satisfying, so it wouldn't have been very good for a poor man's meal as it seemed to be.